Welcome to the Femme Portfolio podcast for an unfiltered journey through the intersection of work, wealth, and wellness. I'm your host, Rach. I started my career on Wall Street, but now I am a wellness entrepreneur with my own venture fund and multiple wellness studios. Think of this as a dynamic mix of career hype sessions, wellness insights, and motivational deep dives. Welcome back to the Femme Portfolio podcast, where we talk all things work, wealth, and wellness. I'm your host, Rachel Hirsch, and today we have the incredible honor of having Jes Workman on. Hi, Jess.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited you're here. Okay, wait. Before we really dig in, will you tell everyone a little bit about you? And then I have so many questions.
Hi, I'm Jess. I am a wedding photographer. I've been a wedding photographer this is my 13th year. I grew up in Palm Springs. I've quite literally never had a real job. I just had a camera and a lot of like really beautiful friends that I could boss around and take out to the desert and put in fun outfits that we'd find. And that kind of just led to shooting weddings all the time.
Okay, she's hard underselling herself. She is like the most famous wedding photographer out there. She is in every magazine. She is the hardest to get a hold of. I mean, like to get a date for because she's always booked out. She's no weekend life herself because she is always doing weddings. But it's also like the coolest thing ever. And every time I have brought this up to my friends, it's like, how did you become a wedding photographer? How did you become like the name? Like, can you just tell us some of the like back up a bit? Tell us how this came to be.
Um, God, it is. I do love playing the game of following every really, really cool wedding that I've had down to, oh, well, I shot their cousin's wedding, or I shot this, or they saw me somewhere. I have a lot of really funny stories of how people have found me. Honestly, one of my biggest weddings, I think I booked by accident. I think they thought I was somebody else and clarified way too late that I was not. And it was great. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've just been shooting a ton. I think this is something that I talk to a lot of people that are just starting out that have shot, a handful of weddings. My first full year in business, I shot 44 weddings on my own. And second shot for, I mean, probably 20 or 30 other photographers throughout the first 5, 6 years of my career. So it's just truly, truly, when you say every weekend is at a wedding, for a majority of my adult life, every weekend has been at a wedding. And I really think that's like a tried and true way of getting your name out there, being face to face with people. This industry is so small, and like the higher you climb in the luxury market, it is even smaller. So if you can put your face, to your name and introduce yourself and show people how you work, it's kind of the best way to really get yourself in the door.
How did the first few people find you? So like 40 some odd weddings your first year. That's an insane number of weddings to get your first year doing it. Like, how did they find you? How did they know you were good?
Yeah, great question. I my first wedding ever was my stepbrother when I was 18. And I was a gift from our parents for $400 to do photo and video. So that it was horrible. The photos were horrible. I had no idea what I was doing. My second shooter, who I paid $40, lied and said that she had shot a wedding before. So it was just, you fake it till you make it sort of thing for a little bit. And but it gave me photos. It gave me wedding photos to post on MySpace at the time. To advertise to my siblings' friends. I have two siblings who are 12 and 13 years older than me, so they had friends that were getting married. I was 18. So I had a little bit of exposure to this older group of people that were already getting married in their backyards and just wanted $500, $600 for somebody with a camera to come and take pictures. And so I did a lot of that throughout college. I probably only shot maybe 10 to 15 weddings in college. But getting a check for $600 when you're 19 is like, I'm gonna buy a Porsche. So, but it was content. And so by the time I graduated, I had a decent portfolio to show real wedding photographers, hey, I can do this. I know kind of the beats of the day. And they would bring me on to second shoot. I also did video for a very long time. So I was able to be brought on by very established photographers as like the cheap video add-on. So kind of, I definitely took advantage of that. And yeah, it was a lot of like, sure, I can do that. and then just showing up and seeing if you can.
So then those are early days, a few steps, years maybe later to Vogue. How did that first Vogue feature come to be? Like, unpack all of that.
Uh, it's such a funny topic in the industry, especially currently, because everybody wants the work seen. Everyone wants we don't have an award ceremony. We don't have, we're such a strange little industry. So the concept of like getting your wedding in Vogue has been around forever. And now more than ever, it's kind of like the last frontier of wedding publications. That's the ceiling to hit and to be seen. And to get validation that A, your work is good, or if you're a couple, that your wedding was good. So there's some silly little nuances with it, but obviously it's cool and it doesn't hurt. And that being said, the first wedding I shot that got into Vogue was for an incredible couple that I booked 3 weeks in advance. I thought the inquiry was fake. This is actually the couple who I think hired me by mistake.
This is so good.
And yeah, they liked my work, and we got on a call, and I didn't even realize that the groom was a celebrity until I Googled him after the call. The bride was so cool. She's a owner of a vintage store that is so hot right now, and I was just enamored by her. And then after, I'm like, oh, I wonder who her husband is, and he's a famous musician. And it just happened very quickly, and I did the best I could, and they had, those connections with PR people that were able to get it out there. And that's kind of the name of the game for a big publication like that. Is it's who you know, it's what you're wearing. If you're wearing something really cool and custom, I have some weddings this year where it's like the outfits that they're wearing are so cool and custom that something like Vogue would potentially want to show it off. So happy little accidents, honestly.
I love this. Okay, so often we have founders on here who have like CPG businesses or healthcare businesses, but this is like you are a full entrepreneur and full artist. And what is it like building a business that allows you to like live in LA while also staying like being an artist?
That is the constant battle of balancing that. And it's kind of hard to explain to a lot of people that I feel like I'm 95% a small business owner and 5% an artist, which is not the mentality that I entered anything with, and not the mentality that a lot of wedding photographers start out with, at least. Or they get frustrated by, because I think the trope could be true that artists maybe aren't the most organized or regimented. And I treat my job like a 9 to 5, like a 9 to 9. But I get up and I have, a structure to it. I schedule, calls on certain days. I schedule, stack all my things in certain ways. I personally take all of my accountant emails and my financial advisor emails or calls, and it's the part of me being an artist is so fleeting, and it's maybe even for like an hour on the wedding day. I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun, and I get to use this like creative tool. So it's constantly making sure that I'm also absorbing art. um I had a movie night last night with a bunch of my friends, and we watched Good Will Hunting, and we got to like discuss it afterwards, and we love movies. So making sure that that's part of my work week is ingesting something that's going to keep me creative. It's going to keep me thinking. There were certain shots in that movie that I'm like, okay, how can I incorporate that into a wedding day? But it's being very proactive and mindful about making sure that that balance has room to exist. Otherwise, it would be me being an artist and never answering an email, or it would be just being running a business and having no soul in the work. So
How do you think you learned how to run a successful business? Because you 100% are an incredibly, wildly successful entrepreneur.
I give almost all of that to my dad. My parents owned a business. I grew up watching my dad create our family business. Back in Palm Springs, when we moved there, my dad was a pool guy, and he had kind of been a serial entrepreneur of, he had a tractor painting company, and then he bought a pool company from somebody and was a pool cleaner. And I would, I would go to the pool supply place and pick up chemicals with him and like balance the chemicals in the pool. And I understood when we bought our house that it was, it was a note being lent by the previous owner. We would go and make payments every month. There was no interest. Like I was watching this at 7, 8, 9 years old and interested, but also being told, don't get a credit card, like don't have credit and don't spend money that you don't have, don't live above your means, how to handle employees and how to be a good boss and how to be ethical, but also be a hard ass when you need to. So being able to watch that and really honestly have that be all I knew, I think set me up for better or for worse to not be able to have a normal job. But it also gave me the true knowing that the sky is the limit. Like there's nothing that you can't do. And like my dad has since changed careers and has built more companies. And so to be able to watch that, and he's not done and 66, and it's like he still has these crazy dreams of like what's next. And so it's very inspiring to be able to sit back and have a first row view of do whatever you want. You can make it happen.
There's so many places that I want to go with that. I want to go into the fact that you were exposed to that as a young kid and how I think parents don't even really realize how they're educating, or maybe your dad is just brilliant, but
No.
then realize that he was really educating you and prepping you for this whole life. But there's also the other side of that that I want to dig into, which is your dad being almost 70 and still being like, watch me. And I can relate to that so much because I keep reading more and more stories about people in their later years like blossoming. And I think so much of my younger years were fretting about how much I'm saving in my 401k. And now when I think about the practicality of that, like, yes, I hope and I want all of that, but I hope I don't retire at 70. Like, I hope I'm still in the game and working and excited and learning. And so I'm obsessed with your dad now.
Same. He's pretty cool. I just had a meeting with my financial advisor and we talked about retirement age. And I got bummed out. I'm like, well, I don't want to retire. Like, I still want to be able to do stuff. And he worded it in a way where he said, okay, well, you can still do whatever you want, but you don't have to worry about that money supporting you. And I'm like, okay, we can reframe it like that. That's good.
We love
So,
a reframe like that.
yeah.
Shout out to
Um,
your advisor.
he's great. Yeah, they're great guys. My dad, going back to if he was aware or not, if he
Yeah.
was educating me. I don't think so. My dad also was a high school dropout freshman year, has zero formal education. Nobody in my immediate family had even thought to go to college. It was just kind of, okay, work. And so he really actually kind of hammered it home to go out and do that, to get a formal education. And I went to a 4 year college and I graduated on time, which is all he ever wanted for himself. And so it was kind of like, okay, well, now I'm just gonna do the same thing you've been doing. So I think I, yeah, I really got the good benefit of having the formal education and a degree, which I've never used, but also like having the school of hard knocks of
Yeah.
this also matters if you choose to do this.
But you've worked with couples in insanely stunning locations all over the world. So for me, they're all amazing. But for you, what makes a shoot truly special beyond just like the venue or visuals?
It's the people. Obviously, it's all about the people. It could be quite literally $1 million wedding and be beautiful, but if the soul isn't there, and if the connections and the friendships and the family, if that's a little dry, it can just kind of be like, well, that was pretty. Um, but it's all about the people, and that can happen anywhere with as many or as few people as possible. Um, it's about that like raw authenticity, and that has shown up in so many different ways. It's not just like, oh wow, like this family really loves each other. It's like the bad stuff of, wow, this family's gone through a lot, or they've lost a lot of people or something, or what a cool connection of people coming from all different parts of the world, and meeting for the first time, cultures blending. It's always very, very cool. And that's where it feels like, oh, this is an honor to be able to witness this and to witness it so intimately. That's always where I walk away really grateful for the perspective that I get to show.
Yeah. Is that palpable to you right away? Like, do you know within minutes?
I'm like such a weird gauge with everything. I do not trust my gut for so many things because I'm usually wrong. Yeah, it's a lot of I'll think I know a crowd. Oh, this crowd's gonna be lame, and then they turn up the party. Um, or I'll think one of my favorite couples ever. Actually, I did their engagement session, and it was awkward. They were very quiet. I was not. I was having an off day, and it was just not great. And then they had their wedding, and it was one of the best weddings I've ever shot. So I'm not a good judging, not even judging book, like I'll spend hours with you and I'll still not really know how your wedding day is going to go. Um, but it's usually in the moment, it'll just, things will be going right to the point where it's like, ooh, that shot worked out. Ooh, that shot was in focus. It shouldn't have been. I'll get the film back. Oh my God, this film looks incredible. It's like the energy kind of gets transposed onto the film sometimes or into my camera, or vice versa. If the energy is weird, I found my camera shut off. Like, like photos not
Um,
turn out. Or and I'll look at my assistant and I'm like, the energy's weird. So
I
I know I shouldn't say that, but it
no,
happens.
no, that's so real.
Yeah.
Okay, but so that's what makes it cool for you, but for me, give me some of the coolest locations you've done.
Okay. I just got back from Nicaragua.
Yeah, looked
Um,
insane.
insane, very, very cool. The quintessential hot surfer group of friends that just wanted to chill and also be photographed, which is some
Oh,
people are too cool for school
oh,
and don't want their photos taken. And this group was like, come on.
bring it on. Okay, cool.
That was awesome. I've gotten to go to Lake Como. I've gotten to go to Anguilla with shooting with friends that are also talented photographers. So I get to like buddy up and go to those.
Fun.
Um, uh, I'm a million that I'm blanking on. I love being in upstate New York. I could like buy a little house in Connecticut and freeze the pipes. I'll figure it out.
Don't leave me.
I won't know. Are you kidding? I will never leave California. I love it.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
When you're in a creative rut or like feeling uninspired, what pulls you out?
Getting off of social media.
So real.
Yep. I had to close my phone earlier today because I saw too many photos that I was like envious of that I didn't take. And I was like, oh, these are not good thoughts. So I walked away. Um, or in a more positive way, consuming something that makes me feel really, really good and creative. My favorite music, watching some of my favorite movies, watching a new movie, um, going out in nature and like touching grass, as the kids say,
The kids
as
say,
the kids say.
I'm dead. Going back a little bit, wedding photography is high stakes. Like people care a lot. And I imagine that's a lot of pressure for you. And there's only so much that you can control. So, how do you price your work in a way that honors both your time and your talent? And also knowing you're a bit of a therapist having to deal with that.
Thank you for saying that because I feel like it is 75% therapist. Great question. And because it is a combination of all of that. It
Yeah.
is expertise of doing this for 13 years. Um, it comes with a lot of, I've seen a lot. I haven't seen it all because every weekend something surprises me, but I've seen a lot. And more and more when things happen at weddings, and I know that I have the ability to make something better than perhaps someone with less experience could have, that kind of makes my price, it's validating to, oh, this is why I can charge a little bit more than the average person, is because I can handle this very well. um Not even how the photos turn out, but the situations and the dynamics and the things that like we are just getting wrenches thrown at us all day, because that is a wanting photo shoot level products with really no control over really anything. So that definitely takes, I take that into consideration with my pricing and with pricing increasing.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of how I operate is supply and demand, and it's what I tell everybody who wants to charge more or wants to be in the luxury market. Are you getting booked? Do people want you? Do people know you? If you're not getting booked and people aren't booking you and people don't know who you are, I don't know. It's a little trickier. But if something just went viral on Instagram, or if you get a big publication, you're in demand usually. And you have about a year or two to kind of feed off of that, and you could jack your prices up a little bit and kind of float with that. But you also have to deliver. And if you don't deliver within that year or two and you kind of slump back down, or maybe that was a fluke of a wedding that you kind of got lucky on, which happens all the time, then that price won't be sustainable. You can't be at this upper echelon and do these weddings often if the proof isn't there. So that's also market research. I have a group of 6 girls who we are all constantly losing weddings to each other. So we just decided to become friends instead.
Love this.
Love, they're fantastic. And so we talk about our prices. We talk about what we're booking at. We talk about if there's any pushback with planners that we all always work with. Different venues that have different, like, it's just a lot of discussion about what's actually happening. And because we've been so open over the past 3, 4 years, we've been able to elevate each other and charge more collectively, which is lovely. But it's also setting a standard for work that looks like ours, and also the experience that we bring and the expertise of how long we've been in business. So it's a combination of all of those things.
So cool. Do you have like, I only work X number of weekends per year, or like, how do you balance all of that?
No, I don't know.
I'm trying to figure it out.
I know. And like I am one of few that will rarely say no. But I'm able to. I don't have kids. I like my partner works as much as I do, so it is not. I have nothing else holding me back from being gone for 30 weekends a year. It it gets exhausting. A lot of my weddings this year are destination weddings, so it's a lot of being gone Thursday to Sunday and then being pooped on Monday and then packing your bag, washing your clothes, packing your bag, and leaving again. So I feel like I have a balance. I think if you were to ask other people, I don't, but I see my friends. I go to yoga all the time.
See my friends, damn it.
Yeah, I have fun. I'm going to a dinner tonight. Like, I have friends.
Do you have weddings or no?
Yeah, I I
That's a
I
hard
hate
one.
I hate dancing and I hate cake. So like the two fun things I don't inherently enjoy. Um, I this is like such a stupid answer. I have fun if I do well.
Not a dumb answer. I feel that deeply, but
Yeah.
it's just it's laughable in the context.
Yes, it's very stupid. I will have like because it's like I don't drink at weddings. I know some photographers maybe let loose and have like a cocktail at the end, but I'm just like so laser focused on not like dropping a camera. Oh my God, I fell in the pool 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wait, Jess, unpack that one. How, what? With the camera?
With the cameras, I like stepped on this outskirt that I thought was, it turned into kind of being like a little secret moat that my leg just kind of went into. Cameras were fine.
Okay,
I
good.
was fine for the most part, but
Were
uh
you wet most of the night?
yeah.
I'm dead.
Yeah, I have a giant bruise on my leg. This happened 2 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so like things happen.
Things happen, but that wedding, like that was fun. But also by the time everyone's like, dancing and drinking and having fun, I'm on like hour 12 and I just want
Yeah,
Taco Bell.
that's so it's a long day for you.
Yeah, they're long days.
This I'm like going way off script here, but if you weren't a wedding photographer, would you know what else you'd be doing?
I didn't even study photography. I went to school for film and television. So I, wanted to write and direct. I still would love to write and direct something at some point. So I have a longer term plan of what this could morph into. But yeah, I think I'll still, in whatever thing I would ever do, it would be creating. And there's a level of collaboration with film and television that I don't get with weddings that I do know I'm missing. And I think I do a really good job of being a little solo business. But I love people and I get my little people dose on the weekends, but I'm like, oh, sometimes I would want 2 or 3 other brains to kind of help me tackle this.
You would be such a good writer, producer, all of that. I could see that.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Have you ever struggled with imposter syndrome or comparison in the space? And like, how do you deal with it? Because I
Of
imagine a
course.
lot of it is seeing other people do things.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Every day it's gotten so much better. I turned 33 last year, and I think just your 30s are about just getting over yourself.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like
Louder.
it's wonderful. And I tell my assistant's 26 and I'm like, just wait till you're 30. Like you just won't care about things anymore. And like, so your hair is gray and your feet hurt, but whatever. Like your brain is so much emptier. um, so it's gotten so much better. It, I it's not so much imposter syndrome in the sense that like I don't deserve this or like I'm not good. I know I'm good at my job. I know that my clients are really happy with what I give them, the experience and the photos. So I know that to be true. But it's more so, and even like charging a lot of money. It's like, well, yeah, these weddings have budgets and they're gonna allot that certain amount of budget to a photographer. I would like to be that photographer.
Love you, the
So
photographer.
yeah, same. And so I'm someone who can be very fact driven, so those are all kind of facts to me. Um, and I have to still get off of Instagram if I see a better photo than something I could have taken, and I get all like, mark, 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 like I can't make that happen. Um, so I think I've kind of done it, and then I'm kind of coming back down to like, yeah, this is this is great.
Yeah, you are great. There's not,
Thanks.
and I appreciate that I'm so ignorant, and this is like something that probably doesn't even, you just can roll your eyes at me, but I can't imagine you not being able to take the photo, whether it's like, there's just not a world where I see that as a possibility. You would figure it out, you would make it happen. I like that is an insane thought to me.
Um, One thing that I constantly have to deal with, because I'm trying to think of a physical scenario in which I wouldn't be able to take the photo. Um, People love to have their phones out during the ceremony when people are coming down the aisle, even if they're being asked politely by the officiant or whoever or a sign to not have their phones out. You will always have usually a lovely aunt who wants to capture that moment on iPhone 10. And I am of the mind that these are your friends and family. Like they want to take their own memories as well. We all have phones. Like you want to look at them instantly, go for it. But it's when they're walking down the aisle and they have their arm out and it's physically blocking my camera. And I don't want to yell at someone's aunt, but sometimes I have to just do a very quick, polite, like, Susan, back in. So that those are, instances. And that happens at like grand entrances. People love to just get the shot. And so that's kind of the only instance in which I wouldn't be able to, is if someone else is getting it. Is the
That
nicest way I can say this.
that is so good and not what I was expecting at all.
What were you expecting? Maybe there's another scenario.
I don't know. I have no idea, but it was just so good.
Yeah.
What is Yeah,
Yeah.
Susan.
Susan.
What's the one misconception that people have about being a successful creative entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay. Now I'm just getting spicy. I'm like, okay, well, um, I think a lot of people still ask what I do all day, which I think is probably really common for anyone who doesn't have a 9 to 5, or they're also maybe perhaps taking longer to do things like we all do. And so I think getting asked what I do all day, or just people assuming that that our free time is free when it's not free. It's just how we decide to play with
How
it.
we
Like for instance, I didn't go to yoga today because I had to do 3 other meetings, and that was a choice that I can make some days and can't make others. So I think the illusion of having free time uh, is probably the most frustrating, but also easy to explain.
That is so real. It's
Right.
the Susans being like, "Well, what did you do today?"
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, or my mom usually, like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing, nothing at all. Come watch me, please.
Are there any rituals, places, or people that keep you anchored when you have like so many meetings, so much travel, all of it stacking up? What do you do?
I have a lot of good anchors. I do have friends, I promise.
So good.
I have a lot of friends that know how my brain works and can talk me down from the ledge. My assistant, Serena, she is with me at almost every wedding. She knows I'm insane. I can be insane around her. I could fully break down and sob, and she can make fun of me or not. Um, and I can be not not mean, but I could maybe perhaps in the moment of a very stressful wedding day, not say please or thank you, which on these days is hard to remember, but obviously is always first of mind of like, just say please and thank you. But if I don't, she's not going to take it personally. She's not going to like harbor resentment against me. So it's kind of that flexibility to maybe not always be the best version of yourself,
Yeah.
because you're surrounding with people who know that you're trying, and also people who will call you out if you're not trying that hard, or if you're if you're kind of being a little brat.
It's good. That's
Yeah,
important though.
yeah,
Like
it's
that's,
okay.
I think the grace of it's okay that we're knowing you're not always going to show up as the best version of yourself and being kind to yourself, saying, damn, I wish I was better. I wish I could have done better. And also, I'm a human and I'm grateful that I have people around me that know I'm doing the best I can and I mess up sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And communicating that and saying sorry when you mess up. And I love saying sorry. I love being wrong.
Yeah. Very real.
Yeah.
Yeah. This morning I had an incident where I made a mistake and it was like so unintentional. It was my mind was going a million miles a minute. It was something I had scheduled way out in advance. And when it happened, it really hurt someone.
Mm,
And I was devastated. And like an apology didn't cut it. Like my insides were eating all morning. I was nervous about filming this podcast.
mm,
I was like such an anxious state. And I finally got to the place of it was like it was not my best self. But I was not intentional. It was not malicious. It was like I just wasn't I had brain fog. I wasn't thinking 100% clearly and I had to give myself grace of being like hopefully she knows and will understand and can give me that kindness back that I hope I give to her because that's real. That's just like it
yeah.
can't always be 100.
Yeah. Which is again part of just growing up and maturing and realizing that, yeah, sometimes life happens, we get stressed out and just cop to it, and that person can
Right.
accept or deny.
Right. And we can't control that and
Yep.
that's the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Re- left turn from here. Dream wedding location to shoot.
Sword with anything like tropical because I love being by the water. I love being on an island. I love just that environment. But it is so difficult to shoot in because it's so hot and humid and our cameras hate it.
Oh,
So that's always, I always think, oh my God, I could just shoot on an island every day, all day. And then we shoot an island wedding and I'm like, oh,
a real question. What are
yes,
you wearing?
a real question.
It's a real question, like a tactical question. What are you wearing to a wedding?
I have like three uniforms. I have one dress that's like just I'm assuming a cotton dress. That's like you have to know like it has to be fairly modest because you can't have anything coming out during a wedding. You have to be able to move, so everything has to be stretchy. Um, I wear this really fabulous hip belt that is actually great for my back, but looks ridiculous. And so I try to wear that with pants. But I have one dress that it looks okay in and it kind of blends into. Some people are really strict with like, I only wear black and I want to blend in. Um, I just happen to own a lot of black, so that works for me. But I think if you're naturally a little bit more fashionable of a person or you like certain colors, obviously don't wear anything insane or flashy or white, or could be misconstrued as white. But I personally don't think there's anything that wrong with having a little bit of personality with what you're wearing as a vendor, but also as an artist. And also, certain crowds won't see you as the artist. Certain crowds will truly just see you as the help. So maybe those weddings get a good idea of if it's going to be a wedding like that, and just wear a black tank and black pants and black shoes. Um,
Part of the reason I ask is because I'd be schwitzing at a wedding on an
oh yeah,
island when the sun is out and it's like you have to I would need to shower like 6 times that day. I don't know how I would deal with the camera and that and your hair and all of it, but you just like focus in.
no, I look insane, and I'm very sweaty, and that is actually a tricky. I don't think I gave it enough. Like my boyfriend recently was like, "This is tricky because it's We have to wear shoes that look appropriate for a very high-end wedding and are also comfortable to be in for 12 hours. And we also have to not look like big sweaty messes, but I'm lugging 25 to 35 pounds of equipment all day. So there it is tricky. And the worst thing is like a really, really kind guest will come up to me at hour 10 and ask to take my photo because the photographer never gets. I'm like, if you don't walk away from me, I will push you in the pool.
Do.
Wild thing to do. It's very kind, but like, you know. Um, so yeah, it's hard. It's tricky. And I deal with a lot of us deal with this a lot because like our feet hurt and but we have to wear nice shoes. We can't wear tennis shoes. Um, so usually a dress is great because I'll wear yoga shorts and a sports bra underneath a dress
Yeah,
and no one knows. So I'm like, I'm actually secretly very comfortable in this.
we love that.
Yeah.
You use film or do you do digital? And that probably is the craziest boomer question.
No, not at all. I get asked that every single call that I do.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
yeah, no, good job. I shoot primarily film. Digital is supplemental to me. I have not always been entirely film. I started incorporating it maybe 6, 7 years ago.
Hmm.
It has had a resurgence over the past 3 to 4 years. And it is very expensive. So that's kind of also an element of pricing is there's a lot of hard costs that come with film photography that just don't exist for digital photography as much. And so we kind of have to build that into our pricing, which also unfortunately alienates certain lower budgets
Yeah.
because we just simply wouldn't make a profit. And that sucks because back when I was charging, let's say $3 or $4,000, I shot a lot of really cool weddings and met a lot of really great people who were creative and talented and kind and beautiful, and weddings that were creative and beautiful to shoot. Um, but I would simply not make any money if I did that. And so that is kind of tough to have to know that I'm turning down weddings that would be creatively fulfilling simply because I couldn't make a profit off of it.
This is an ignorant question and I apologize, but
Oh,
why film versus digital? Like what are the differences?
great question. Film is, to me and to a lot of people, just a more timeless medium. For me, it makes me a more intentional photographer because you have to be a little slower. Not entirely slow. It's not like I have to sit there and like really compose a shot. They work and fire just like a normal camera for the most part. Um, but I don't want to waste film because again, it's expensive. So every shot that I take, I am a little bit more mindful of not, as they say, spraying and praying, hoping that something comes out. I have to really sit and make sure that is this worth it? Which is probably not the thing that you want to hear your wedding photographer say on your wedding day. But it's true. I don't want to deliver just like, okay, I shot it. It's like, no, I want to shoot the moment. I want to make sure that it's as perfect as I can possibly get it. Portraits are a good example of when we do have time to slow down, angle people correctly, put them in really good light, put them in a spot that we, scouted the day before or the morning of, and make sure that we can, everything that we can control, we get it, and we can take some really beautiful film photos. Um, and it just looks better. Like there's a depth and a texture to it that you can try to replicate with digital. Um, I personally can't replicate it, so it's almost a lazier version of being like, well, it just looks better, um, but it does. So
Lazier version.
a little bit,
More modern version. You can't spray and
yeah.
pray.
You can't spray and pray.
What's your favorite detail to capture at a wedding?
Oh, nominal toasts and speeches.
Mm.
It's usually people's like least favorite part of the day. I say, like, yeah, it's funny. It spices it up a little bit.
I
So,
love this.
so I really do love I love that. I love walking the room, seeing who's laughing, who's crying. Because the couple is so focused in on whoever's giving a speech, and so they're not seeing sisters like losing her shit, crying behind her, and I want to be able to, give that back to them. And it's also like a very real moment of the day. It's also like the only surprise of like, how's this gonna go?
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Also,
fun.
being able to see the other sides that they're missing that they don't even
Mhm.
realize they're missing. What a gift.
Yeah, it's very cool. I feel very on in those moments. And I had a wedding recently where the mother of the groom was killing it. It was one of the best speeches I've ever heard. And I fully just had my camera in my hand for a good 5 minutes. and was not taking a photo. And my assistant was like, "What are you doing?" And I was crying, I was laughing. I'm like, "It was a great speech. I wanted to listen." So it's
Oh,
enjoyable.
that's amazing. Is there something that you never leave home without for a shoot?
My cameras.
Fair, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, aside from like gear, I don't know. I feel like it's sometimes it's such a muscle memory that I will be halfway there and I'm like, did I get that? And it's like, yeah, you never take it out of your bag. You're fine.
That's fair. Like I
Yeah.
never leave home if I know I'm going to be gone for more than this is so embarrassing to admit without a granola bar. I get really bad hangries. And so it's like if I don't have a snack, no one wants to hang out with me.
Oh no, we have like emergency bags full of snacks, ibuprofen, liquid IV,
Oh yeah.
lots of sugar. My assistant loves candy, so she will usually always have like sour strips, because it's just kind of like a quick little hit of something. Um,
Maybe as,
water.
maybe as a thank you for this, I'll make you guys a wedding shoot day pack of all of my favorite things to put in there because Cure Hydration is way better. You got to put that in your pack.
I would love that. Yeah, and that's we do not drink enough water on wedding days, so and also like just again knowing hour six, we need to chug a water bottle, or like this is really bad. My mom was very crunchy granola. I've recently discovered soda.
I'm dead.
You ever have a crisp Coca-Cola?
That's crisp Sprite Zero. There ain't nothing better.
No. And so that on like hour seven, right before like the
No,
speeches start or something, it's just like you pound like a nice little sody pop and then you're like
so
buzzing. It's so good.
I love this so much.
I
Okay, we end with five theoretically one-word answers. They're like,
know.
I keep saying quick fire. I've clearly been watching too much Top Chef, but I whatever they're called, like,
Rapid fire.
thank you so much, rapid fire. What is
I'm good at
something you
this.
can't live without?
Can't live without
Mhm.
my cat.
What keeps you grounded
My friends.
that you have?
That I swear to God.
That you admire most?
My parents.
What makes you feel wealthy?
Money.
So real. What's
Um,
something few people? Oh, you're like I
that's
want
such a
to.
bad answer. No, that was horrible. I
I'm
said
not.
money.
Go back.
Seeing a lot of money in my account makes me feel
That is so valid. Like that's
I can't
real.
say that. That's
Like,
insane.
that's relatable.
Um, I want to reject that. But okay, applicably, I've recently moved into a much larger space that is a result of being able to, have a dollar in my bank account. And I'm able to finally have my friends come and stay the night in like a proper guest room. And I just got a bed frame for my room literally last week. My guest room has been ready the week I moved in, lamps, bed, art, everything. I stocked the guest bathroom. And so to be able to have my friends come and stay the night and feel very comfortable and be able to like wake up and make them like yogurt granola bars and like make them be on my little schedule for the day. It has been so fun. And that is something that when I stress out about how much this apartment costs, I'm like, okay, well, I get to have all my friends here. And this is not a one word answer, but that is a better answer. So,
But
yeah.
that's so real because I think that having money and being able to say like that actually makes me feel wealthy is
Yeah.
I've been talking about this with people. So we're going off the one word answer thing is having financial wealth and wellness is what can give you wellness in the rest of your life. And that's exactly what you just said.
Yeah, and I tell a lot of my friends that are maybe still kind of figuring out their careers. I'm like, a certain amount of money can buy a little bit of happiness. So,
Right.
so yeah,
There's a limit to it, but it does. It gets you to like a certain level for sure.
yeah, I get to like buy food for my friends and have them eat the food that I want them to eat with me.
That is going to be such a good clip on here.
That's so stupid.
I loved it. Okay, last one. What is
Yes.
something few people know about you?
Ooh, I think that I'm really anxious actually. I hate the term like extroverted introvert because I am like a true extrovert, but I'm always very anxious about everything. It's just that I've thought so much about everything that I have the plan A, B, C, and D. I'm a Virgo, if you haven't put that together.
So clear.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
clear.
yeah, 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 yeah. But I'm also, this is again so stupid, like a Pisces moon and a Pisces rising. So there's a very, very soft, like anxious little like version of myself that I let out in different ways. But I think confidence also often comes from a place for me of, well, I've already thought about all the worst case scenarios, so that's why I'm here.
That's
That's
so
why I
real.
said yes.
It's that you're right though. That's not something you are someone when I walk into the studio, which is how I know you, are a calming presence. You are reserved, but totally approachable and engage with everyone. But I don't know. It's not something I picked up on. I don't think that's really relatable, at least from one anxious
Good.
person to another. So thank you.
Good. Yeah, the first like 5 classes at the studio at the yoga studio, I was very anxious, and I also kept having like wardrobe malfunctions at every class. And by like the fifth class, I'm like, I can't keep coming to the studio because they're like, why is this girl? I think I wore my pants inside out one day. Like it was truly one thing after another, and I'm like, I need to take myself out.
You should not feel anxious about that. I will give this caveat to anyone that walks into the yoga studio. It is like if I put my underwear on the right way, my socks on the right feet, like if I'm wearing the same shoes, I am flying because that has happened maybe like twice in a whole year. So you are in very good, or maybe company you don't want to be in, but that is so normal for us. So,
Good, good, good. I've gotten over it. Now it's like,
okay, great.
yeah,
Thank
good,
goodness. This has been exactly what I was hoping for.
good.
So fun. You are brilliant. And I think there's so many of us who like we aspire to be like you in so many ways. And you can roll your eyes all you want, but it's true. You have made something so successful of what so many of us dream of, and I think we need more people like you to help us, keep chasing our dreams and like make it a sustainable dream so it's not just an idea, that it's tangible. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this and platforming people and women that go after what they want or go after what they maybe don't even know that they want. They just, have a feeling and they chase it. And I think if I were to, you know, leave any other woman or any other person with that message and just try, like if you can figure it out. So thank you.
Love that. That's the best way to end. Thank you so much, Jess. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.